Piedmont Triad area weather. Chilly start to our day. We do have some clouds rolling in, and the winds are strong for the northwest with a very dry air mass in place and those gusty winds. Get some elevated fire weather concerns returning. Our high right around 65. We're down to about 35 tonight with areas of frost. Sunny for tomorrow, the high upper 60s. Dry and much warmer Wednesday, the high closer to 80. We're into the middle 80s with fair weather Thursday and Friday. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. For News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
Afternoons just got better with more guests, more opinions, and more laughs. The Dan Patrick Show.
The spelling is more incorrect. Thom or Geoff?
I'm an anti-Geoff guy.
I'm not much of a Thom guy
either.
either.
I'm not a Thom guy either.
Why add the H? It's Tom, T-O-M.
One of my daughters dated a Geoff, and I never called him Jeff.
At some point, though, it is a conscious decision to be Tom with or without the H.
The Dan Patrick Show. This afternoon at 2 on WSJS.
It's time to discover the action and the excitement at Crossfire basketball camps nestled in the majestic mountains of Asheville. Directed by Jamie Johnson and the late Randy Shepard, along with university coaches and players, Crossfire basketball camps are legendary. Jamie has ministered and inspired in 68 countries and 47 states, and has even ministered to legends like Michael Jordan. He's available to speak at churches, schools, and NC Huddle groups near you. At Crossfire, campers experience high-level drills with a Jesus-centered focus, offering full-day camps for boys and girls ages 9 to 18. Over 25,000 campers have already been impacted at Crossfire basketball camps since 1993. Camps are filling up fast, so call 828-255-9111 to register your child today. Don't miss out on this transformative experience. Visit crossfireministry.com for more details. Crossfire basketball camps, where faith meets the fast break. crossfireministry.com.
Good morning, Triad, and welcome to the Daily Pulse with Steamin' Back.
Now you see me, now you don't want to talk, but I bet you won't.
Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the Triad.
Let me calm down. Let me take it easy on, take it easy on.
Get ready to dive into the stories that matter most, the headlines shaping your day, the conversations everyone's having, and the local perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
Hold up, wait, breathe.
The Daily Pulse starts now on WSJS.
The Hornets are done and still didn't make the playoffs. The Hurricanes are 1-0 with a game number 2 coming up later tonight. And the Madhouse action's just getting revved up. Fireworks already in weekend number 1 in Winston-Salem. Good morning to you. It's the Daily Pulse here on WSJS. I'm Beck here with you, and you can stream us the whole time at WSJS.com. It's best because if you have to hop out of the car, you won't miss anything, plus some great giveaways there that we'll be telling you more about here in just a little bit. We have a Pulse Pick question of the day today at WSJS Radio on X, or our phone number always open to you at 336-777-1600. And it's nothing like getting people woken up on a Monday. I know how to do that best. Would you rather use the bathroom in your car or have to make a stop at a restroom? That's our question for you today. 336-777-1600. And hey, if you have some good calls this week, we want to give back to you as well. Like Merlefest tickets. April 23rd through the 26th, we've got them for you here on the Daily Pulse, and just call us 336-777-1600. You want to go? Christian and I will hook you up. Before we get to our Monday morning market update, which is very important right now, it always really is, especially when you have your life savings stored away and tied to things like that. And it's even better when you have an advisor like Doug Eslick, who we hear from each and every Monday, because he's got his eye, just like we do on the Pulse, he's got his eye on the markets. But before we get to that, I want to tell you, coming up in just a little bit, we have Kyle Morton, who is a beat reporter for the Carolina Hurricanes. He's going to update us on the Hurricanes' first game against the Senators in the playoffs, where they did win, but also they have a game 2 coming up later tonight, actually. And we have some stuff to get to here locally, like a time capsule that you can donate to, but it still hasn't been buried yet, nor I don't think they're planning to bury it, strangely enough. And there was a truck transporting tons of bees that we'll have to get you updated on. But first, right now, before we get to our Monday morning market update, let's do your update of the latest headlines.
Pulse check. It's what's happening right now.
Federal immigration enforcement activity remains high in Charlotte after a recent Border Patrol surge there. Reports indicate agents were seen operating in commercial areas, raising concern among immigrant communities and local advocates. All of North Carolina is still under a burn ban this morning due to dry conditions and a wildfire risk, with a generous portion of breeze in the forecast for today and tomorrow. And speaking of the forecast, strangely enough here, after we went from abnormally warm, now a sharp cool down is bringing near freezing temperatures late tonight into tomorrow morning across parts of the state. In some of our nation's headlines, you heard most of those at the top of the hour from SRN, but one that they did not share is that the U.S. Senate has passed a short-term extension of Section 702 surveillance authority, buying lawmakers more time to negotiate reforms. The debate centers on national security needs versus privacy protections. Now that we've updated you on all the mainstay headlines, as I said, the market fluctuating up, down, left, center, all over the place, and hard for me to keep it straight. That's why I rely heavily upon a good friend of us here on the Daily Pulse, Doug Eslick, to give us an update on things that are happening looking at that market.
It's time for your Monday Market Update with Doug Eslick, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's take a look at where the markets stand as we begin the week.
Good morning. This is financial advisor Doug Eslick from Edward Jones bringing you the financial market report. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ reached new record highs on Friday as Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz is open to commercial shipping during the 10-day Israel-Lebanon ceasefire. Consumer discretionary and industrials led the advance as fuel-intensive sectors rebounded sharply. Bond yields moved lower, with the 10-year Treasury yield at 4.24%. Internationally, Asian markets finished lower overnight, while Europe traded higher. The U.S. dollar softened against major international currencies, consistent with a modest unwinding of safe haven demand for the world's reserve currency amid today's risk-on tone. In emergency markets, WTI oil prices fell roughly 9% on Friday as some of the geopolitical risk premium was removed with the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that normally handles about 20% of global oil and gas flows. While U.S. restrictions on Iranian ports remain in place, oil futures markets also retreated, now implying crude prices could move back towards the low 70s by year end. If realized, falling oil prices should help ease headline inflation and help reduce pressure on energy intensive sectors. Earnings seasons kicked off last week on a positive note, with the 6 largest U.S. banks delivering better than expected earnings per share. More broadly, the first quarter S&P 500 earnings outlook has improved. Earnings per share growth has been revised up to roughly 12%, which, if achieved, would mark the 6th straight quarter of double-digit earnings growth. Technology is again expected to lead by a wide margin, with earnings gains of roughly more than 40% year over year, followed by materials and financials. Importantly, the breadth of growth is expected to be strong, as 8 of the 11 sectors are projected to post year-over-year earning per share gains. We believe wide earnings growth should help support more balanced market performance across sectors and help strengthen the case for portfolio diversification. This has been the weekly market financial report brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Doug Eslick, member SIPC, serving investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 112 Lowe's Foods Drive in Louisville, North Carolina. If you would like additional information, please contact me at 336-477-6042.
Doug is always just a phone call away, right here in our community, 336-477-6042. And when things are this volatile, up and down, all over the place, you need a trusted advisor who will take care of you and do so in a genuine manner really taking care of you, your friends, your family, and your future as well. And so I highly encourage, if you have interests or questions, to call Doug, 336-477-6042. Pulse Pick question of the day. Don't forget, nothing like a wake-up call for you. Would you rather use the bathroom in your car or have to make a stop at a restroom? And I bet you have wonders on that. We have a story tied to some new developments that may just let you do that if you'd like to use the bathroom in your car. We'll share that with you in just a little bit. Big sports weekend to get to always after a weekend away. And we'll start actually at the Madhouse, where Bowman Gray had its opening night of the 77th season. And before we kind of tie the Hayes Jeweler 200 modified that we actually were giving tickets away to last week, to a unique happening with one of the race results there, I would say the fireworks happened already. Night one, boom, right off the get-go. I guess technically it was late in the festivities there because I think it happened after midnight, but the stadium stock race had to end because of a time limit after a crash that involved A.J. Sanders and Austin Cates near turn 4, where tensions boiled over. Instead of stopping, drivers started using their cars as a battering ram with one another. They just started ramming into each other with their cars after this race. The scene looked more like a demolition derby that actually Bowman Gray is somewhat known for and have that on their schedule for later here in the spring. Local police, of course, had to enter the track quickly, separate everything. And actually, there's some reports saying that Austin Cates was led away by police after continuing to argue. Now, none of those guys, of course, won that stadium stock race. Luke Smith, the winner, Brad Michalowski, number 2, Zach Taylor, number 3. So far, no official NASCAR penalties had been announced. But just, again, another wild scene there in Winston-Salem. And if you like racing, then guess what? WSJS.com. Right now, springtime winning banner there, where you get to select what prize you're interested in. And we have tickets to Bowman Gray Stadium for the Sportsman 100 on May 23rd. So we can go ahead and hook you up to that. Along with that great prize, you could choose from Kid Rock, who's going to be in Charlotte and Raleigh on May 8th and May 9th. We have tickets to both of those concerts. Wake Forest takes on Louisville May 2nd in Winston-Salem, and Charlotte FC takes on Toronto FC May 16th at Bank of America Stadium. So be sure to check out all those different choices that you have. The other unique little happening at Bowman Gray from this weekend, because we had it, the Hayes Jeweler 200 modified race that we were promoting, giving tickets to, I thought it was interesting that Tim Brown alluded to the fact, I think he did this on Try It Today with Jeffrey Griffin, that he was going to have a special blue painted car because Hayes was a big supporter of his for so long. And then go figure, who wins the race? Tim Brown. So that's pretty special to celebrate and that conjoined partnership that happened for so long. In NBA basketball, the Charlotte Hornets season ended Friday night, 121-90. During that, Con Knippel, former Duke star, and really has been a great rookie for the Hornets all season long, shared his struggles after the game.
No excuses. I just didn't make a lot of shots. And I shot really well throughout the year, and it just got to the point in the last, week of the season, the last 2 weeks of the season, just didn't shoot it great.
So the Hornets are out. Magic went on 121 to beat Charlotte to 90 points. And the Magic, of course, actually now in the 8th seed playing the Detroit Pistons, won their game last night. We'll have other NBA scores coming up for you shortly. Also, we have the Carolina Hurricanes to think about. They started their playoff run over the weekend. They won their game 2-0 over the Senators. Kyle Morton, a Canes beat reporter, going to join us in just a little bit. But if you missed it, this is the way that game started.
The 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs are underway as Brandon Blandina drops the puck. Ottawa is the better. We will fight on the opening face-off. Kachuk, Stahl, exchanging blows, and down we go. 3 seconds into the playoffs. Tkachuk and Jordan Staal. The two captains have set the tone.
I mean, off the immediate center ice face-off, the two just start going fisticuffs. I had my phone in my hand, looked down for 2 seconds, boom, out of nowhere. But the Hurricanes did go on to win that game 2-0. We'll be telling you more about it in just a little bit. As we go to our break, we've got some local headlines to get to. But first, why is Coachella continuing to be forefront and center? I know they just had their second weekend. I had to do a little digging to find out what is so special about that event. We'll share it with you next here on the Daily Pulse on WSJS.
It's the place where conversations pop like popcorn in a microwave. WSJS, where the Triad comes to talk, debate, and cheer. Whether you're dissecting the latest game, unraveling the news, or engaging in lively banter, WSJS is your go-to for talk, news, and sports. It's like the Triad's favorite coffee shop, but without the overpriced lattes. Tune in and turn up the chatter. WSJS, your voice in the Triad. Visit us online at WSJS.com.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Doug Eslick can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started by giving Doug Eslick a call at 336-477-6042 or visiting edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Tar Heel Basement Systems, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
If you like saving money, head over to Crossroads Ford of Kernersville now to save up to $16,000 off MSRP on these amazing Ford courtesy vehicles. 2025 Ford F-150 trucks, Explorers, Escapes, and Expeditions. These vehicles have extremely low mileage and have been maintained by the amazing service department at Crossroads Ford, just like new. John and his team will help you get in the Ford of your dreams. All roads lead to Crossroads Ford of Kernersville, right off I-40 and 421 on Highway 66. Visit crossroadsfordkernersville.com for more details.
Since 1927, Black Sand Company has been the Triad's go-to for new construction and landscaping products. They make your projects a breeze with supplies like decorative stone, playground materials, and more. From gravel and mulch to topsoil and sand, they've got it all. For residential or commercial needs, choose the best. Black Sand Company. Visit blacksandco.com or stop by 745 West Clemensville Road in Winston-Salem and discover how they bring loads of fun to your landscaping dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, one does not lightly bestow distinction. Yet in the case of Geoffrey Griffin, the matter is rather splendidly clear. Casting one's vote in his favour as the Winston-Salem Journal Reader's Choice Radio Personality of the Year is not merely advisable, it is, quite frankly, the only sensible course. So I encourage you, with all due academic gravity, cast your vote now at WSJS.com. I can confirm that Geoffrey Griffin is uncommonly delightful. Off you go to WSJS.com.
The Daily Pulse, the sound of the Triad, amplified.
Back on the Daily Pulse on the News Talk Sports Station here in the Triad, WSJS. I'm back here with you, Christian Snyder producing for us. I didn't even say good morning to you, man. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Good morning.
It's been a quick first segment there. So much to squeeze in. Actually, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, out of the NHL playoffs last night, your scores: the Avalanche beat the Kings 2-1. Lightning lose to the Canadiens 4-3 in overtime. The Bruins lose after leading the majority of this game to the Buffalo Sabres 4-3. And also the Mammoth lose to the Golden Knights 4-2. NBA scores from last night: Celtics win 123-91 over the 76ers. The Thunder beat the Suns 119-84. Those Magic that I mentioned beat the Hornets earlier this weekend. They win the first game of their series with the Pistons 112-101, and the Spurs in the late night game beat the Trailblazers 111-98. Tons of stuff to get to early this morning. I'll tell you, if you want more long form, discussion on some sports and different things, I've got a marathon day personally for myself. Filling in for WD on the drive later this afternoon from 4 to 6 here on WSJS as well. So we encourage you to take part in that. Give us your calls, just like you can do now, by the way. Our phone line is always open to you during this show, 336-777-1600. Both tickets to the Merle Fest and to Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 lap modified race on May 2nd this weekend. 2 weekends, I should say, from now to give away. We got all those tickets and want to fill you in with wherever you might want to get to this morning, and also fill you in with the idea that Coachella could be brought to you. I didn't know exactly what was so special about Coachella because they had a weekend last, I guess a week ago where I think Justin Bieber was there, and I started seeing a lot of rumblings about that. Then this weekend, the second weekend of that event. You know much about Coachella, by the way, Christian?
I am not familiar with it. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, so, I kept seeing things. So just real quick before we get some local stories, it happened again this year in Desert City, Indio, which is in Southern California, Coachella Valley, they say. Everybody pays attention to it for these reasons. It's more now than just a music festival. I think it started out actually from somebody, I think Paul Tollett is his name, in 1996. He helped organize what was called the Organic Festival, an all-night electronic music festival held at a ski resort in LA. And then he, I guess, reformatted this thing to turn into now what is Coachella, but it's more than just music these days, that they have it. It's also a whole social media buzz. There's a few different jokes that are getting pitched around. It's the only festival where the Wi-Fi matters as much as the headliner, where people say premium prices to cosplay being carefree. That one's lost on me. I don't think that one's very good. That one didn't land. The most common instrument at Coachella is the front-facing camera. That one's better. None of them really did much for me. But it's all about fashion. It's about music. It's about celebrities being there. It's about exclusivity. Brands flood it with marketing. The lineup reflects what is really popular in the style of genre of music. And most fans, they just end up seeing it all over their social media platforms like you and I, Christian, and probably have little to no knowledge of why it's that important. Some local headlines here this morning to just kind of run through before we get to our reset at the bottom of the hour. Kim English is a name that college basketball fans may or may not recall. He was the former Providence basketball coach who in recent days reports had said would be joining the UNC basketball staff under Mike Malone, who's the new head coach there after they relieved Hubert Davis. Now, a complete about face happened. Kim English had already been in the building, reports say, working on the job and in with the team. And now he's come out and informed the Tar Heels that he's not going to pursue the assistant coaching role in Chapel Hill. So left on Mike Malone's staff so far, some holdovers expected to remain: Sean May, Pat Sullivan, and Eric Hoots. And then Malone also recently had hired associate head coach Chuck Morton. Some early reports from this saying that Kim English, instead of being there in Chapel Hill, could be the New York Knicks head basketball coach in the NBA. America 250 Guilford hosted a time capsule dedication ceremony in High Point over the weekend at the High Point Museum. It's part of a broader effort to commemorate the upcoming 250th anniversary of the United States that we'll be celebrating later this summer. Strange part, the capsule isn't being buried. Most of these time capsules, they go right into the ground, not to be unlocked or dug up or open until a certain time frame. This one, it's being housed in the collection storage area at the High Point Museum. So they're encouraging us to encourage that anybody that wants to take part in giving and submitting things to this can still do that. The time capsule, though, opened, they say, in about 50 years from now. Another local news story that came out before we go to our break here, the Greensboro Science Center announcing the birth of 3 Allegheny wood rat pups. Never heard of such a thing in my life, Christian, but they say at the Greensboro Science Center, this is a big milestone of conservation. Allegheny wood rat pups, they help forests by foraging on nuts, seeds, fruits, and fungi to help the ecosystems in our local Appalachian Mountains. So there's some of our local stuff to get to. We're going to take a break here. We'll reset you at the bottom of the hour. And then also joining us, Kyle Morton, to tell us what happened over the weekend with the Carolina Hurricanes next here on WSJS.
What makes springtime winning a thrill? It's not just the tickets we offer. It's not just the concerts, the baseball, or the races. It's not even the excitement of soccer or the allure of fresh starts. It's the moment you bloom into big wins, the thrill of fresh air and fresh prizes. This is all we offer, but we offer it all so that this spring you can spring forward into winning. Discover your chance at WSJS.com.
In a world that moves a million miles a second, Haagen-Dazs invites you to slow down and savor every delicious bite. Take it one almond at a time with the Haagen-Dazs Vanilla Milk Chocolate Almond Bar. Madagascar vanilla, rich milk chocolate, and toasted California almonds make this unmatched icon legendary. Whatever Dazs you savor, a snack bar or your favorite flavor, say goodbye to the fast life and hello to savoring the finest ingredients and the richest and creamiest ice cream. That's Dazs, available at retailers nationwide.
Piedmont Triad area weather. Chilly start to our day. We do have some clouds rolling in, and the winds are strong for the northwest with a very dry air mass in place and those gusty winds. Get some elevated fire weather concerns returning. Our high right around 65. We're down to about 35 tonight with areas of frost. Sunny for tomorrow, the high upper 60s. Dry and much warmer Wednesday, the high closer to 80. We're into the middle 80s with fair weather Thursday and Friday. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. For News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd on WSJF.
25-5 with two teams, 250 yards a game, 2 touchdowns throwing for every interception. Much better in the pocket, bigger athlete, throws over the middle of the field better.
Your daily dose of sports talk, reality checks, and I told you so's.
Don't mess with me.
Yes, I'm opinionated. I make you think, though, I hope, and react. Join me weeknights, 6 till 9. It's The Herd on WSJS.
Do you know how City funds support services you rely on every day? The city invites you to its City Services Expo and Community Conversation event from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Home and Garden Building, Gate 9. Talk with a variety of city departments about what they do and the services they offer. Engage in small group conversations led by city staff facilitators. They look forward to seeing you on April 23rd at the Fairgrounds Home and Garden Building.
Hungry for something fresh? Head to Bobo's Deli and Grill at 3478 Robin Hood Road. They serve the best crisp salads, hearty burgers, and deli sandwiches made with meats and cheeses sliced fresh in-house daily. Or try one of their made-to-order wraps packed with bold flavors and quality ingredients. And if you need catering for a party or meeting, large or small, Bobo's has got you covered. Come taste why locals love Bobo's Deli and Grill at 3478 Robin Hood Road beside the Robin Hood YMCA.
Jerry Hunt Supercenter, the king of pre-owned cars, is stocked up and ready for you. Over 1,200 cars to choose from, including light new convertibles, just in time for spring. Need a truck? They have many makes and models to choose from. Don't buy new and lose money. Shop Jerry Hunt Supercenter, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Check out their massive inventory at jerryhuntsupercenter.com or visit Jerry Hunt Supercenter, the king of pre-owned cars in Lexington and Salisbury.
I'm a king in this game. Let it boom, let it bang.
The Daily Pulse, the sound of the Triad amplified. Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the Triad.
Break in my waist, I don't play with the fakes.
Back to the Daily Pulse with Stephen Back.
We are back on a Monday morning, and we appreciate you being with us here on the Daily Pulse. I'm Beck, Christian Snyder producing. Stream us at WSJS.com, or if you'd like the video feed, it's also available on YouTube and our social media handles at Stephen Beck TO and also at WSJS Radio, where right now I might add, our Pulse pick up on at WSJS Radio, the poll there, 100% of people are saying that they would rather use the bathroom in their car than make a stop. And I'll tell you what, I've got good news for those 100% of people this morning that made that vote. You might get your chance to do that if you haven't already. So stay tuned for that coming up in just a little bit. Right now, let's get everybody updated with the latest headlines this morning. All of North Carolina is still under a burn ban that's really been going now for, I want to say, almost 3 weeks. Dry conditions and the wildfire risk is still remaining pretty high in our state. A sharp cool down, though, is bringing near freezing temps late tonight into tomorrow morning. The bipolar North Carolina weather we've had, we went from abnormally warm now to colder than normal. And federal immigration enforcement activity remains elevated in the Charlotte area after a recent Border Patrol surge there. Some of the nation's top headlines: the U.S.-Iran confrontation has pushed oil prices back higher again after the United States reportedly seized an Iranian-flagged cargo vessel near the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. The U.S. Senate has passed a short-term extension of Section 702 surveillance authority, buying lawmakers more time to negotiate reforms there. And sad news this morning. Authorities in Shreveport say 8 children were killed in a deadly shooting rampage yesterday. Before we get to our guests here this morning on the Daily Pulse, updating us on the Carolina Hurricanes, who have Game 2 coming up later tonight in the NHL playoffs, call Christian while I'm talking with Kyle at 336-777-1600. Merlefest tickets are right here in our hands. 336-777-1600. If you want to go to that at the Wilkes Community College on April 23rd through the 26th weekend, then we've got those tickets for you here today on the Daily Pulse. Hope to be giving those away throughout this week. With us on WSJS, we welcome in Kyle Morton, who is a beat reporter for the Carolina Hurricanes and contributor for Daily Faceoff. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we got game one in the books for the Hurricanes Senators. The Hurricanes hosting Ottawa on Saturday afternoon. A game where we expect with these two teams never facing one another in a playoff scenario. What were your initial thoughts from the outcome?
I think it was kind of in line with what I expected. I think, one thing that was kind of interesting heading in was that, when teams play a playoff series in their regular season meetings happen so late in the regular season like they did with these teams, you normally have kind of a feel. Like these teams played 3 times between January and April. But I think with the way those shook out, in the third one, both teams were playing on the back-to-back. Ottawa wins, playing for his playoff lives. Carolina's traveling. Kind of a weird scenario. And then in the second one where the Canes won, James Reimer was in net, the backup for Ottawa. So it didn't feel like you could take too much from those regular season games to kind of project what you might see here. But we knew the styles were going to be similar. I think we saw that. It was really tight. It was really in your face. Both teams were looking to turn the puck over and kind of create some chances heading the other way as quick as they could. And then the Hurricanes get one past Linus Ullmark with Logan Stankoven, and kind of a weak shot that maybe fooled him a little bit with its speed, and then a good net front play for the second. And Freddie Anderson makes those 2 saves in the third, and that's kind of the story of the game.
Yeah, for me, the excitement of the game, you mentioned there, Freddie making a couple of big time, standing on his head type saves in the third. But I don't know that any of that, and we might even touch back on that, but I don't know any of it pales in comparison to 3 seconds into the game. We got Jordan Staal and Brady Tkachuk dropping the mitts. I mean, Jordan Staal, A, not a fighter, but B, the fact that these two decide to kick off this playoff series in that fashion. I mean, obviously there's got to be some logistical planning to that ahead of this, right?
Yeah, well, you can say what you will about the Tkachuk brothers. They are excellent showmen. I mean, there's no way you can take that away from them. We saw that at the Four Nations face-off last year in the USA-Canada game that wasn't the final. The Tkachuk brothers dropping the gloves with Sam Bennett and Brandon Hagel. And it looked like the cameras, at least on the Sportsnet feed in Canada, maybe caught it a little better than the ESPN one. It almost looked as if Brady was just looking at Jordan Staal off the draw and was like, you want to go? And then Jordan nodded. I don't know, because I think Jordan said in his post game that he didn't know it was going to happen until the moment. But yeah, I mean, interesting choice, honestly. I think for Brady Tkachuk, there is the showmanship, the gamesmanship to it. But to do something that's going to so immediately get the other crowd, the opposing crowd, the home crowd involved in that game, and I don't know how much that adds to what the Senators do. Everyone kind of expects that sort of stuff from Brady Tkachuk, but I think for the locker room in Carolina, to see their captain drop the gloves and go, I think on the FanDuel broadcast at the intermission, you saw how much it meant to Jordan Martinook that Jordan Staal was willing to do that. It really set the tone, and I mean, we didn't see a huge momentum swing either way with the way the first period started after that, but it got the building involved, and I think Ottawa would have been better served if, maybe keeping it a little quiet as long as it could.
Before we get to Stankoven's goals, and I don't want to spend our entire time breaking down, this fight necessarily, but I would give a nod to Jordan for holding his own, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he did more than enough there, I guess. I did want to ask you about the playoff, aspect, being a fan in Carolina, before we, immensely got too deep into the semantics of the game, because Raleigh was rocking, I feel like. You got all the towels twirling, and it seemed like, they did their part. Is that a big edge for this team when it comes to a playoff run?
Absolutely. And I think it's something that really goes kind of under discussed and under noticed in kind of the national narrative about this team. My favorite stat right now that I kind of happened across while I was doing my prep for this series is that since Brind'Amour took over, in the first 2 games in Raleigh, in the Lenovo Center, at PNC Arena back then, of any first round series. So if it's games 1 and 2, if they're the higher seed, or games 3 and 4, if they're the lower seed, in the first round, they're 13-0. So the first taste of playoff action that Raleigh crowd gets, the team is good enough and the crowd is enough to carry them, and they win those games. And we'll see if they can make it 14-0 tonight. But yeah, I mean, that home ice is huge, and we've seen some teams be able to negate it. We've seen the Florida Panthers come in and the New York Rangers come in and win some games, but when it's the first round, when they have a little bit of a talent advantage, that crowd is a huge factor in kind of taking the other team out of it.
When I was watching this game, as you already mentioned, Kyle, and Kyle Morton here, a contributor for the Daily Faceoff, joining us here on WSJS. You had mentioned these two teams having similar styles. Actually, one of the more impressive stats that I found from the broadcast was that the Senators actually outshot the Canes in all three of their meetings in the regular season, which is an impressive thing for an opposing team to do against Carolina. But if there's one thing, I guess, to just kind of take away as a Hurricane supporter that you might be a little disappointed in, it would be the power play. What can they do about that? I mean, they had, I feel like, an exorbitant amount of chances, 5-on-3 and 5-on-4, and none of them cashed in.
Yeah, I thought it got better as the game went. I thought the second 5-on-3 was a lot stronger than the first one. They were a little bit messy with the zone entries on the first one and never really got set up to create any dangerous chances. That shot in the second period on the power play, Gostisbehere on the one-timer, that was a really nice play by Jarvis to kind of slow it down and feed it to, I think it was Ehlers to Gostisbehere for a one-timer. That's a goal 40% of the time. It was a heck of a save by Linus Ullmark to get that with his glove. And, we probably feel a little different if that goes in, but it's the big question, right? Because we've seen this team's power play fail in the playoffs, and that's often been the reason they go out. I think of the Rangers series in the second round of 2024. They were, I think, 0 for 11 or 12 coming into Raleigh in game 4 when they were down 3-0 in that series on the power play. And that was really the difference. They get a power play goal in that game and come back nearly force game 7 before giving up a lead in game 6. So the power play is going to be huge. It has to produce. It may not need to produce to win this series, but they're going to need it at some point on this run. I'm optimistic based on what they did in the regular season, based on how well Gostisbehere has been running the point and how good of a distributor Ehlers has been, kind of mixing and matching on the first unit and the second unit, that they'll be able to create the looks. But I think you tip your cap to Ottawa for having a good plan on the kill. They were aggressive, kind of like Carolina is on its kill. I mean, the Senators have good penalty killers, and I think one thing that got kind of pointed out in the coverage of them leading up to the series is they changed which coach handles the penalty kill for them. And that kind of went from it being a pretty bad penalty kill to one of the better ones. So, I mean, we'll see as over the course of the series. They'll definitely need to cash in on the power play at some point.
You mentioned Ehlers and that first line. I really felt like were holding check again yesterday. And it really ended up being Stankoven and Jackson Blake on the second line that generated most of the chances. Is that to be expected when you have, I think most of the time Ottawa was going 1v1?
Yeah. It's interesting how closely these teams mirror each other because, Canes fans obviously very familiar with what the Jordan Stahl line can do to shut down a team. The Shane Pinto line in Ottawa with Nick Cousins and Michael Amadio is much the same. And it was huge for the Canes because that was the line that got the Stankoven and Blake line. And then they got him. That first goal came against the Pinto line. That's a matchup they need to win. And then I think when it is one first line versus first line, when it is Stützle versus Aho, those players are so similar. They're very smart, crafty two-way centers who produce a lot of offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out. And then the depth is going to have to be where the Hurricanes win out because, like I mentioned, that Pinto line for Ottawa, they don't have a scoring threat on that line the way that the Stahl and Martinook line has with Ehlers to provide some offense on the counter when you are shutting down the opposing team's top line. And then the Blake and Stankoven line has been getting it done in the playoffs, obviously this game, but go back to last year. Stankoven was the leading scorer for the Hurricanes in that Panthers series they lost. He came up big against the Devils with a couple of goals. And then in Ottawa, their second line with Dylan Cozens and Drake Batherson, that line struggled heavily for them in their playoff loss last year to Toronto and didn't do much of anything last night either. So I think that second line versus second line and how they rise to the playoff occasion is going to be probably a big advantage for Carolina as the series wears on.
Kyle Morton, beat reporter for the Carolina Hurricanes, with the Hurricanes getting an advantage 1-0 over the Ottawa Senators here in the first round of the NHL playoffs. Rod Brindamore had a choice, Freddie Anderson or Bussy to go game one, and he chose the veteran Anderson.
Yep.
And we already kind of mentioned there, Anderson, he did his job, man. There was a couple of big time saves that I recall in the third. Of course, the one that was reviewed, keeping the puck out of the net with his glove. And then you could say kind of the snow angel type save shortly thereafter. How do you think he rolls, game two? And what did you make of Anderson in game one?
I think you go back to Anderson. I don't think it's much of a question after that performance. And it didn't surprise me based on the way the regular season kind of closed that Brindamore opted to go with Anderson. Bussy was obviously very strong in the last two games of the regular season, which are a positive sign. But a lot gets made about Anderson's playoff history. The fact of the matter is, since he came to Carolina, he's been a good playoff goalie, not necessarily a great one. He obviously hasn't stolen them a series against one of these elite teams like the very best goalies in the world do, but I think it's really overstated the extent to which he's cost them, especially in the first round. Like, he's come out, dominated the Islanders, dominated the Devils. To see him pitch a shutout here, not overly surprising to me, even though he did struggle a lot this regular season. He's just such a calm, focused guy who knows what it takes to kind of dial in, keep that heart rate low, and come up big in these moments. I'm sure, the Canes will need Bussy or Kochetkov to step up at some point. We've seen Anderson's kind of stamina run a little low as these playoff, runs go on. He's not necessarily built at his age to handle a high stakes, high leverage game every other night, the way the playoff schedule kind of demands. But at the start, he's going to give you the best chance to win. And obviously he did it yesterday or Saturday.
So Hurricanes 1-0 in the series. Kyle Morton, beat reporter. Man, we appreciate you getting us caught up on all these details. Maybe we'll catch one another again after game two.
Absolutely. I'd be glad. Thanks for having me.
More sports on the way with me hosting The Drive for WD from 4 to 6 later today on WSJS. So be sure to join us there. After our break here, we got a story on the bathroom in a car on WSJS.
You've always been curious. Over time, you've wondered about the best news source, the hottest sports updates, even the weather reports. But as the weekend approaches, make sure there's one decision you're certain about. WSJS.com. No second guessing ever. We bring you the latest news, talk, sports, and weather. Tune in live worldwide. Explore your favorite show hosts and our exciting contests. At WSJS.com, we keep you informed and entertained. WSJS.com.
You'll taste it and love it.
It's time for Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters. Their specialty roasted beans offer pure, rich flavor, avoiding the plastic. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters, because your day deserves the best start. Get to their roastery for expert care and advice at 205 Neal Place in High Point. If you can't get to the store, shop online anytime.
You'll taste it and love it
at fosterhobbs.com.
Heritage Hardwood Floors, they've been crafting exquisite flooring solutions for homes, businesses, and schools since 2005. Offering hardwood, carpet, and waterproof laminate, they ensure quality and style at every step. Plus, refinishing of existing hardwood floors is their specialty, backed by over 60 years of combined experience. With unmatched customer service, they will elevate your space with the care you deserve. Transform your floors today. Visit heritagehardwoodfloors.ws. Heritage Hardwood Floors, when it comes to flooring, they have no ceiling.
Why do more drivers trust Haviland Express Lube and Service on Highway 66 in Kernersville for complete car care than any other auto shop in the area? Simple. It's because of their ASC certified technicians and the latest diagnostic equipment, ensuring your vehicle is serviced right and on time. Make an appointment, discuss your needs, and drive away happy. Haviland Express Lube and Service, your one-stop shop for total car care. Service you trust. Performance you feel.
When your little one has a cold with a fever, try new DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. It's the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever offers fast, effective cold and fever relief for kids ages 6 and up with a delicious grape flavor that kids love. New DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever will help them feel better fast so they can get back to the fun stuff quickly. New DayQuil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Ow!
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Daily Pulse with Stephen Back, connected to what matters in the triad.
I'm back. It's the Daily Pulse, and we're a part of WSJS. Just go to WSJS.com to stream us, plus pick up the Daily Pulse podcast, where you, if you miss anything, can recap our show with us each and every day. And it's also on all your major podcasting platforms like Spotify and Apple. Our Pulse Pick question of the day today remains a stronghold on our poll at WSJS Radio on X. 100% say that they would rather utilize the bathroom that doesn't exist in their car, at least doesn't exist yet, as opposed to go make a stop at a restroom. Chinese automaker Series is the name of the automaker. Never heard of it. Has received a patent for an unusual feature, a built-in toilet that slides out from under a passenger seat and can be activated actually by voice command if you'd like that, or a simple push of a button. According to this report, the toilet system would work this way. It remains hidden under the seat when not in use. You slide it outward when, you're kind of feeling the urge, obviously. It's controlled by a voice or a push of a button. It stores waste, you might call it, in a removable tank. And for those worried about this part, because I know I would be, it includes odor-controlled ventilation. To make the idea more practical, the patent reportedly includes a fan and an exhaust pipe to reduce the odors, a heating element. Here you go. To dry the solid waste, and then the liquids would evaporate as well. A sealed holding tank is included that would need to be empty. So you get that luxury after you, have the luxury of completing your waste disposal. You actually then have to dispose of said waste. If you're interested, the patent's out. It's not in production yet. So we'll keep you posted on that. As you can hear, my time has expired here for the Daily Pulse. Don't go anywhere, though. Stay with us all throughout the day because you'll catch me again today at 4, filling in on the drive here on WSJS.